Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piwowarski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. Two-way views, conservative news. And Craig, guess what day it is?
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. It's raining tacos out in the street. Tacos, all you can eat. Lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. It's raining tacos. Yum, 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 yummity yum. It's like a dream. Yum, 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 yummity yum. Bring your sour cream.
Legit, just finished eating my tacos.
Legit. That is flat out legit. I think so for us, and I don't know, you guys probably don't have Jim Boys out there, but right
what?
now it is a taco place called Jim Boys, which is the bomb ass tacos.
You know, it's the new big hip thing over here, and we got two or three different kinds now. We got this this hot chicken place, like these spicy hot chicken place, Nashville hot chicken and Jimbo's hot chicken, and so now we got all these hot chicken places here now.
Well, that's cool. The only thing I always say about the hot chicken stuff places is this: is the chicken actually hot, or is it the sauce that's hot? Because if it's the sauce that's hot, then I'm not impressed.
Yeah. So I could do that. Look here, look, a bottle of hot sauce. Look, hot chicken. There you go.
we got Cane's. We got a bunch of different places that came out with some hot chicken out here, and it's, like I said, it's mostly the sauce. And not that the chicken's bad, but they charging too much for chicken that is not like
putting some sauce on it. Yeah.
Exactly. You charge too much for. I mean, just charge too much for the sauce. Just give me the sauce, right?
That's
not put on some real chicken.
That's it. That's right. That's how you do it.
There you go. So, but yeah, Jim Boy's Tacos. They've been around here for a while, and it is, man, it is. First of all, it is some of the greasy. It's the corn tacos. It's got the corn tacos, but it's like the greasy corn taco. This ain't like the hard shell corn. It's
that's how they're supposed to be. Yeah. The street taco style. Yep.
Yes, it is. It is legit. Delicious. Definitely not good for you. Makes appropriate drunk food.
Well, I mean, they're good for you because they help you get kickstart your diet the next day, because they're going to clean you out.
Oh yeah. Oh, most definitely. That's how you stay regular. You don't need a laxative.
Nope.
You don't need a colon cleanse. Just get you some street tacos.
That's it. All natural colon blow.
Yep. All natural colon blow. Okay, I haven't heard it called a colon blow, but now I'm gonna use that one.
The old colon blow.
Well, good stuff. I didn't have a chance to talk with you, man, since the weekend. How was your weekend?
I worked. You know, we get that radio gig thing, and I forget what I did on Sunday, but it wasn't vacation-like, because I would have remembered it. So
there you go. It was a pretty forgettable weekend.
Yeah.
It wasn't hard work. I mean, I had a thing on Friday night. Somehow for one client, I've turned into kind of like their AV guy. So whenever they do events, I wind up, because I already do all of their video and all of their technical stuff. And so now I'm like the AV guy at their events. And if they didn't pay me so well, I probably wouldn't do it. But they take pretty good care of me. So I got no problem giving them that little bit of extra.
You like to show half an effort, you know?
I show half an effort. You know, it's hard though, man, because I'm used to being the guy in front of the camera, the guy that's on stage, not the guy that's. I'm usually the guy in the scene, not behind the scenes.
Right.
And so that's a little bit different. And because here's the problem with being the guy behind the scenes: nobody knows you, nobody cares about you until you mess up.
Listen, it's tough being the mop bucket boy, you know? Towel, sir? Towel?
This boy.
Yeah.
But no, it's funny because if the microphone don't work, everybody's looking at you. If
Yeah.
the microphones work 100%, nobody could care less who you are.
It's just. Oh, I know what I want to tell
Yes.
you. I pulled in behind a school bus at the light today, and I was running late. Pulled in behind a school bus, and I was running late, and the school bus was full of kids. Had to be middle schoolers or like ninth grade. Guess what happened? I mean, I'm right behind them. Guess what happened?
One of them flipped you the bird or something?
Nothing. These kids today got nothing, Craig. You remember what we did?
Nothing?
It was a challenge.
Oh, yeah.
You know, now they're all just sitting there, and all I can think is they must be playing on their phones or their tablets. They didn't even look out the windows. That's all we did. We preyed on people that got close enough to the bus.
If you got close enough to the bus where you could see us on the bus, we were going to get a reaction out of you. That
you
was
got
a must.
fingers, you got moons, you got wet paper towels thrown at you, everything. Yeah.
I mean, see these kids today, man. They don't value real world entertainment.
Yeah. They're interacting on their phones, and we were interacting with the cars around us. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I would like to, although I have to be honest, my kids, unless they were going, they never had to ride the school bus to school.
Yeah.
They were either close enough.
The detention kids, for all I know, but they were in the school bus.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Well, anyway, they were either very well disciplined or they were very boring kids, or both.
Nerds.
They were nerds. Okay, they were nerds. All right, folks. Well, let's get ready to get into the program, and let's start the way we.
Nerds is the other N word.
Nerds is the other N word. So, in other words, the future Bezoses and Bill Gates of the world.
Not allowed to say that anymore. At my daughter's school, they called it the N word. I was like, no, she didn't use that word. And come to find out, they were talking about nerd. So,
yeah, y'all are too sensitive. Y'all would not have lasted during our generation. I'm sorry, but you would. Where talking trash about you on the bus was a thing.
Yeah,
that was like you had to survive it. You just, even if you couldn't do the dozens yourself, you were the recipient. And the more you reacted, the worse it got.
At least once a week, somebody got hung from the bus while I was moving. Get out a window or out the back door or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's probably with those pop open windows.
Go ahead, say it again.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors on that note. Say it again.
Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. If you want to get yourself some AR barrels, they've got them. Rifle caliber, pistol caliber, bunch of the VZ stuff there. I hang out with the guys there yesterday, and they had all kinds of barrels. You don't have it, they could probably make it for you if you're looking for it. Now it might cost you for specialty stuff, but check them out. And then, of course, AR barrels, rifle caliber, pistol caliber, anything like you desire, all in stock, ready to go. Just give them a call. Hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. If you want the best in tactical concealed holsters on the market, get on over to Hog Holsters. That's HAWGholsters.com, hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. It's all one word, no spaces, all caps. Get yourself a nice little discount. And if you need some field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, fire, EMS, military, paintball, whatever it may be, get your group together. Place an order over at uscombatgear.com where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. Do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourself a favor. Visit their websites. It's real simple. Just follow the links in the description to this program. Go there, spend some money with them, and tell them it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also want to encourage you, if you're watching this program live, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, on YouTube, on Rumble, on Twitter, on Facebook, however you are watching or partaking of the program, if you're watching it live, we're also taking your comments. So we would love to hear what you have to say about the program, about us, especially Mike. Just let us know what you think. Let us know where you're watching us from, all that fun stuff. We enjoy the interaction. And just know that you don't have to agree with us. In fact, it's probably more interesting when you disagree with us, because that then gives us the opportunity to mock you.
Oh, wow. Is that a mockingbird?
Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
You know what I love about that every time? is that that's a bird from Florida. That's a mockingbird.
That is a
So
mockingbird.
that bird's like he's you've heard of Florida man? That's Florida bird. That's Florida
That's
bird.
Florida bird. Florida having the mockingbird. Now, is that their state bird or is that just a bird from Florida?
No, that's the state bird of Florida, the mockingbird. Yeah.
There you go. See that, and that pretty much is Florida.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Hey, American Crossfire, our most loyal, probably our most loyal viewer, is on with us once again. Saying,
Wait, are they watching live? Are they watching live?
They are watching live. American
live's
Crossfire
now.
is watching live.
Live's
Yes.
now. If you're watching us later, it's not live anymore.
Well, by the time it gets to them, because they're probably on like a 3-second delay. It's not live anymore. It's
So it's not live.
delayed, but it's live, but it's delayed live.
Who's looking to the future, them or us?
Well, they're more in the future than we are. We are in the
Oh, so-
past. By
so
the
they're
time-
live.
By the time we get to them, we're in the past.
So they're live and we're replay. Got it. Okay.
There you go. That there be how it be, folks.
It happens.
It does happen. It does happen. So, all right. If you're like me, you've been wondering why haven't we heard? We hear everything on every single time. If anyone is remotely involved in anything potentially violent or potentially whatever it is, if there is a shooter or something like that, and they are conservative, their manifesto is up before the bullet leaves the barrel of their firearm. That is how quick the media is to put stuff out about people who might potentially be engaged or involved in violence, either against the left or towards the left, right? Which, by the way, rarely happens. But if it's someone dealing with a conservative and the person happens to be, here's the thing, if the person happens to be left of center or part of a liberal ideology, we don't hear hardly anything about them. Well, we're finally starting to hear some information about Mr. Crooks. Mr. Crooks is the gentleman who attempted to assassinate then candidate Donald Trump, now President Donald Trump, also, by the way, former President Donald Trump. By a miracle of God, and I feel very comfortable saying by a miracle of God, because had he not turned his head just slightly, this gentleman would have succeeded. Well, now we're coming to find out, there's some interesting stuff about this guy that we're just now finding out. And by the way, just so y'all know, it ain't the government who is telling us about this. It's not the people investigating. It was actually the media who came out with this information.
The would-be Trump assassin Thomas Crooks raising serious questions about whether federal agencies missed red flags before last year's shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania. The New York Post's Miranda Devine reporting that a source reviewed 17 social media accounts tied to Crooks, revealing an extensive online footprint the feds have not openly discussed. Crooks allegedly used they, them pronouns on the platform, posted years of violent rhetoric, and flipped from pro-Trump to openly anti-Trump in the months leading up to the attack. One former FBI agent telling Devine if they have investigated that kid, there's a record of it, and there's an assessment that some leader made that was not a threat, or it rose to a level and they did something else. New York Post columnist Miranda Devine joins us now. Miranda, welcome to you. Seems that you've got some pretty big findings here. What have your sources revealed to you?
Thanks, Sandra. Well, they've told us that there was actually a very large digital footprint left behind by 20-year-old Thomas Crooks, who was Donald Trump's would-be assassin last year in Butler, Pennsylvania. It's quite a different story to the one that Christopher Wray and his deputy Paula Bate told Congress just in a couple of weeks after that assassination attempt. And we were sort of led to believe that Thomas Crooks was really a ghost, that there was no motive that could be ascertained from his online accounts. And yet a source has provided us with a lot of information from 17 different online accounts that Thomas Crooks had, and they range from, Google Play to that site you referenced before called DeviantArt, which is probably the biggest or one of the biggest hubs online for this sexual fetish called furries, where people dress up or fantasize about animal characters, cartoon characters that are sort of humanized. And so it's very bizarre, but we also saw that with Charlie Kirk's killer, alleged killer Tyler Robinson, who was also involved in this bizarre furry culture. So there's not a lot that my source discovered on those lines, but there was a little bit. The fact that this guy, Thomas Crooks, was interested in this furry site, spent a lot of time there, had various images that he liked and reposted, and also gave his pronouns as they, them. But I think the more important part is what the comments, his online comments from, he was very young, I mean, 15, 16, 17, show us about how he became increasingly violent and sort of radicalized against Democrats. He was pro-Trump. And then in January of 2020, he flipped 180 degrees. Something happened to make him become rabidly anti-Trump. And again, his rhetoric took more and more of a violent turn. He started brushing up against, there was a neo-Nazi by the name, fake name probably, William Tepes, who started encouraging Crooks in more and more violent rhetoric. And then suddenly something happened in August of 2020 and he just disappeared online. Very unusual. And then, of course, in July of 2024, he fired off 8 shots from a rooftop at Donald Trump at that rally in Butler, killing Corey Comparatore, who was sitting behind Donald Trump, and badly injuring 2 other rally goers. And
All right, that's pretty much the crux of it. But I think that if there's one thing to take from this, number one, this guy he had issues. He had mental health issues, no doubt.
Yeah, my favorite quote was, she said he was into bizarre fairy stuff.
Bizarre furry, not fairy, furry.
She said furry. Bizarre fairy
Well,
stuff.
it's a British accent, man.
Yeah, I know.
But all right, I want you to think about this. Think about if someone is, and I don't want to call them British, if someone is from England, if they don't have like a thick, like a Cockney accent, they sound gay. A guy.
Way to just, turn on 100 million of our closest allies, Craig. Wow. What the-
I'm sorry, but you know, I just hate to say it, but it's just that in many cases, like they do. I hate to say this, but unless you're a manly man, it just yeah, no.
That's got to be
So-
a California thing. Because we on the East Coast, we listen to you people in California who are like, hurry up and say it already. Because you guys are like, well, man, what's going on out here, dude? And it's just,
Yeah, don't
you
talk like
take
that.
forever to get to the point. We're like, just come on, let's go.
I don't talk like that. But you are from New York, so New Jersey, so I get your lack of patience
whoa.
with
I am from New York,
the
and I'm not-
verbose.
I am from New York, and I'm not going to comment on that. But I'm not from that other dirty place you mentioned. So
New Jersey. Okay, I apologize. I'm sorry. Only the New York Giants and Jets are from Jersey.
that's it. That's what everybody understands this, right? That the Massachusetts was created for tax freedoms. Connecticut was created for religious freedoms, and New Jersey was created to host New York football teams.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
that there is how it works.
Yeah.
But so one dude had issues, but it was interesting that it was the left that actually got him radicalized enough to actually go to violence. And I think that's what it was. So this guy was going to be radicalized. He was looking for a reason to be angry in my mind. And he was just he was just looking for a reason to be angry, to be oppressed, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was the left that successfully radicalized him to violence.
Yeah, all their rhetoric, right? They
Mm-hmm.
are facilitating. What's your you got a phrase for it? What do you call it?
Oh, creating a permission structure for violence.
There you go.
Well,
They
and
have-
that's
they created the permission structure. Yep.
and that's the thing is I feel very comfortable when I say that I think in most of these cases, many of these cases, we're talking about someone who is got mental health issues, right?
Yes.
But then at the same time, it's like being careful about, once again, creating those permission structures, making it okay for people with mental health issues to say, you know what? Yeah, if he's the next Hitler, if I take him out, I stopped Hitler. That's the sort of stuff that it's like you're trying to get them to see. It's not one thing to say that person's policies are wrong, or I disagree with that person's policies, and here's why. It's a whole nother thing to say that we're never going to have another election, right? They're going to be a dictator. They're going to make themselves king until they die. I mean, you don't
This
see
is a-
Republicans doing that sort of stuff, or at least for the most part, you don't see them doing it.
This is a kid who, doing the math right, he spent from the time he was, 13 years old to 17 years old in his house on his computer, looking at evidently furry porn and Reddit, and deviant stuff like that because of the COVID, because of the lockdowns for 4 years where he was. And this is, they drove them to it. It was like if he had taken an IV of this Democrat horse crap in his veins, he wouldn't have got it any quicker.
Yeah, that is an excellent point. And where more and more people were getting their information from online. And like I said, I'll go back to it again. One of the reasons why I talk about that permission structure is it wasn't like you had like the wackos or the extremists of the Democratic Party who were saying this, who were the only ones saying this. You had Congress people, you had entertainers, you had people in academia who were saying this. You had mainstream thought leaders on the left who were creating this permission structure, who were saying these things that would eventually incite people to violence. And I think the fact that so many people have actually engaged in such violence ought to be telling to anybody. I mean, if we're being honest, I still can't believe the number of people who want to insist that this is a both sides thing. You and I know it's not.
No, because that's their only defense, right? Oh no, that's not how we meant it. Not how we meant it at all. Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly how they meant it.
Yep.
All right, next up, speaking of sensationalistic stuff, and I have to be honest with you, I am glad to hear this, that basically there was only one person in the entire House of Representatives that did not vote to approve to have the White House or the Trump administration release all of the Epstein files. And then in the Senate, come to find out, in the Senate has unanimously stated, let me pull the article up here on CNN. The Senate has unanimously agrees to send Epstein bill to Trump's desk once they receive it from the House. So now, Mike, and Trump has encouraged them to do it. So I'm believing now what we're going to see is we're finally going to see all of the Epstein files are finally going to be released. And I'm really, really curious what the Democrats are going to do when it turns out that their folks wind up being the ones overwhelmingly implicated in relationships with Jeffrey Epstein.
Well, they'll find a way to make money off of it and get the Democrats to believe it was the Republicans' fault, Craig. It's just, they'll no problem at all. By the way, it was Representative Clay Higgins out of Louisiana who did not vote for it. And I believe his quote was that it abandoned 250 years of criminal justice procedure in America. He's a former career law enforcement officer down there.
Yeah, I don't blame him for not voting for it. I just, once again, I'm tired of hearing about it. I want the stuff out there. By the way, one thing, let's be clear. It will never be enough for people. For the people who are doing this and saying this because they hate Donald Trump, it will never, ever, 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 ever be enough. Because the problem with conspiracy theories, with a lot of these conspiracy theories is that the absence of evidence is evidence of the conspiracy.
Yeah, they're expecting to see like for 10 years worth of body footage from Jeffrey Epstein that he wore a camera. It's just like you're not going to get that, dude. You're Here's you know what? You're not even going to get the list of who was on Epstein Air going to Epstein Island. You're not even going to get that. You know.
Well, you'll probably get some flight manifests, which by the way, we've probably already seen.
Yeah.
You're not going to get any of the grand jury testimony. The courts have already ruled, unless the Supreme Court says that stuff has to be released. The courts have already ruled against any of the grand jury testimony because guess what? Grand juries are supposed to be
Yeah, and the
behind
conservative
closed doors,
court's not
supposed to
going
be
to turn that over. They're not going to make
No.
change their mind.
They're
Yeah.
they're not going to turn that over. So we're not going to get anything out of any of the court documents. And that's where the real secret is going to be. Why won't you release the grand jury? Well, the executive branch and the legislative branch have no control over that.
That's right. That's right.
They really don't. Anyway, I'm just looking forward to it being done. But once again, I still will continue to go back. It's like almost I think the amount of money given to Democrats versus or Republicans versus Democrats is something like 10 or 11 to 1. I mean, it's something like $140,000 he gave to Democrats and like 18,000 that he gave to total to Republicans.
Yeah.
Although I am really curious, this whole Steve Bannon relationship with Epstein, he was actually consulting Epstein and advising him during while he was going through all of his trial and stuff like that. I'm like, Bannon, what's up with that?
Listen, maybe he was giving them, legal advice. Just say, listen, don't volunteer to this. Don't say that. Don't just shut your mouth and
Well,
let it fall. Let chips fall where they may. You're not going to win no matter what. So keep your
Yeah.
mouth shut.
Steve Bannon has always been one to kind of latch on to powerful people. And, I think that's pretty much what that was an attempt to have influence over some powerful people.
I get it, but that guy's hair, man, that guy's hair is beautiful. He got a head of hair on him.
He got a head of hair on him.
Love that guy's hair. It's straight, comes right down to the shoulders, got a little flare at the. Oh man, that guy's got good hair.
Okay. Hey, the gun foodie is chiming in. Patrick Collins. He says they are currently they're doing inventory right now. So Patrick, thank you so much for you and Chris for tuning in. Hope you are enjoying your inventory. I hope you don't. Let me put it this way. I hope you don't have a lot of inventory because then you won't have to spend a lot of time doing inventory. It means you sold a lot of stuff. So
here's how you better be doing your inventory: 1 bullet for me, 1 bullet for Mike, 1 bullet for me, 1 bullet for Craig, 1 bullet for me, 1 bullet for Mike, 1 bullet for me, 1 bullet for Craig.
There you go.
But don't send Craig more than 10 bullets. He can't have more than 10.
Well,
however, I'm in Florida. I could take 1,000,000 bullets and be okay.
He's already sent me more than 10 bullets. Folks, you got to check out the Gun Foodie. Their prices are phenomenal. So just go there, check them out. Like I said, customer service is great. But yeah, check them out. Check them out. I think it's go ahead and put your if you're still listening, Patrick, I think it's the gunfood.com. Look that one up, Mike. I think it's the gunfood.com. But yeah, if you're watching, Patrick, go ahead and put it in the comments. Let folks know. I'm sure they will love to do some business with you. All right, this next story. All right, so we know what's kicked off a lot of this redistricting madness across the country, and it's been a lot of it started in Texas, where they decided to redraw the lines in order to increase the number of Republican seats. Well, it turns out now a court has stepped in and decided to block the redistricting there in the state of Texas. Being reported by Breitbart, it says here, U.S. District Court, in a setback for President Donald Trump, struck down a congressional map on Tuesday, redrawn by Republicans in Texas, that was intended to give the party 5 more likely seats in the House of Representatives. The court ruled that the new map, which weakened 5 Democratic districts, would not be used in the 2026 midterm elections, where Republicans are seeking to safeguard their slim majority in the House. Democrats are eyeing a big win that would allow them to challenge Trump for the rest of his term. The court said the redrawn map which was challenged by Black and Hispanic voters, amount to illegal racial gerrymandering. The court, in a split 2-1 decision, ordered Republican ruled Texas to use a 2021 map for next year's congressional midterm vote. The decision, which Republican Texas Governor Abbott said he would appeal to the conservative majority Supreme Court, is the latest development in a congressional redistricting battle between Republicans and Democrats playing out nationwide. Now, once again, that appeal basically means that Republicans are going to eventually wind up, I believe, winning. You know, the only area that the one thing that they have to hang their hat on is because gerrymandering is a thing. It happens. Redistricting is a thing. It happens. Now, if the argument if the argument can effectively be made that the reason was to increase the number of Republican seats, that may be a place where the opposition can hang their hat. Once again, I'm not a lawyer. I didn't sleep at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But that sounds to me like the one thing. Now, what it sounds like they're hanging their hat on is, well, it's racial gerrymandering. Well, if you listen to the Supreme Court arguments, they're basically saying that if you draw a seat where Democrats can win, then that means that it's effectively a potentially Black district, so it's okay. So you have to draw districts where Democrats can win. That's what the opposition is arguing. And clearly the Supreme Court was not having that.
It's amazing. And it's the same point I was going to make is they called it racial gerrymandering. They're saying gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is the manipulation of electoral constituents' boundaries so as to favor one party or class. Craig, look at these Democrat districts. These Democrat districts in these areas are, like I showed you a picture, a couple from Florida, where they span 200 miles long and at some points the width of an interstate, so they can connect minority communities to make sure they have positions within the government, as opposed to the best qualified person in the district. Let's make sure we have an all Black district or an all Hispanic district. That's gerrymandering. Gerrymandering is not, and the Supreme Court has defined this before, you just said this, is not when you make districts based upon political or geographical boundaries. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be have an all Black district so they can elect a Black person. It's supposed to be clump these three counties together because they're next to each other and the person comes from there.
Well, it's the idea is supposed to be communities of interest, right? Meaning they're communities that share the same issues. A lot of that is tied to geography. A lot of it is tied to proximity. But simply because here's the thing, if it's simply about electing Black people, then what you're saying is Black people are only going to vote for Black people and white people are not going to vote for Black people.
They're saying that Black people are racist and white people are racist because I'm not capable of voting for the best person, Craig.
Right.
I'm only capable of nominating the best Black female to the Supreme Court. How about the best candidate, right? When I go to the hospital with a heart attack, I don't say, I want the best Black female surgeon. I say, I want the best surgeon. That's what I want. It doesn't matter to me, their skin color, their race, their ethnic origin, all of that nonsense. It's a matter of the best. And they're saying you and I are not smart enough to pick the smartest person in the room, Craig.
Well, no, they're saying we're racist. In other words, I would never vote for you and you would never vote for me. So therefore we have to draw districts so that I can vote for myself.
Yes.
Right? Now, by the way, that ignores the fact that 75% of the members of the Black caucus or Black members of Congress are elected in non-Black districts that are not majority Black.
Yeah.
So that kind of throws their theory out of the water. And in fact, every single Black Republican is elected in a district that is not Black.
I heard this stat, and I listen, it might be a little bit off. I don't have it in front of me. Massachusetts. Do you know how many Republican congressmen there are from Massachusetts?
None.
Yet 40% of the people that are registered to vote in Massachusetts are Republicans.
Yep.
That's gerrymandering, folks.
That is gerrymandering. Not a single 40% of the people. And you tell me you couldn't draw one Republican district?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, not buying that one. Not buying that one. That is in fact gerrymandering. And by the way, in most cases, one of the reasons why they're going to wind up losing, I think in this case, one of the reasons they're going to wind up losing is because or not just in this case, but they're going to wind up losing overall. Democrats is because they already gerrymander significantly and gerrymander Republicans out. So they don't have a lot of room. I mean, even in California where they just passed Prop 50, one of the things that we've been looking at and been talking about is, look, they've just created several competitive Democrat districts where, like, one in particular, it was Dem plus 14. Now it's Dem plus 7, meaning it's almost within the margin of error.
Yeah.
Meaning it's Democrat plus 7 percentage points, meaning a Republican, the right Republican, could win in that seat.
That's right.
And they've created several of those. So anyway, it will be interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Moving right along, Stephen A. Smith, who's actually been posited to be a potential Democrat candidate for president of the United States. Why I have an idea, but he is not necessarily a political savant in my mind. But one thing that's been really interesting, and he makes this point about who shows up, who's willing to come on his show, on his podcast, where he does talk about politics, who's willing to come on and who's not.
Jasmine Crockett has been invited on this show for 4 months. AOC has been invited on this show for 4 months. Gavin Newsom has been invited on this show for longer than that. Chuck Schumer's been invited on this show, hasn't shown up. Every single Republican I have asked to show up on this show has either said yes or that they're coming. Not the Dems. Why?
Because here's the thing, and what I will say is this: yes, he is a Democrat, but Stephen A. Smith is not in their pocket, right? He is not. He has come out publicly and talked against the woke ideology that now permeates the Democratic Party, and even people on the left, people who are elected in elective office, who don't necessarily believe in or are submitted themselves to the wokeness, they are afraid of the woke ideology, and they dare not stand up to it, and they dare not be seen publicly standing up to it. That's why they won't go on your show, Stephen A.
Yeah. And listen, I could see him as a senator or a governor. You know, I think he's got the acumen to do that. And perhaps there he gets himself a little bit of government experience and then could, explore a national, the presidential campaign. But I think, listen, he's asking the right questions, Craig. And for the most part, the people we have in those positions are thus just there because of the letters next to their name and not ask questions. What do we got? 10%? 10% of the Senate that actually you would know their names. Everybody else, you're like, never heard of them before. Never heard of them.
What you're especially right in that I would like to see him continue to be in the media asking Democrats these questions because he is a Democrat. I would love to see him inviting them on, having them, expose themselves, expose their actual positions. Because I honestly believe if he is a Democrat, he is a Democrat, but he's more of an old school Democrat and doesn't buy into a lot of the stuff. He's a more reasonable Democrat. Once again, he's still probably a lot that we disagree on, but in the end, he's not promoting the sort of ideology that is about tearing down of the institutions that have made America what it is.
Yeah. I could see him, say in the Senate, say on some committee, right? But he would be grilling both sides. He would grill the Democrats as hard as he grilled, his own party as hard as he grilled the Republicans.
Yes.
And that's what I like about him. He's not going to, as much as I like, the Ted Cruzes of the world that give the Democrats a hard time, Ted Cruz doesn't ask the Republicans hard questions. Stephen A. would ask both sides the hard questions.
And you need to. We need to hold our own. In fact, it's more effective when we hold our own accountable.
Yes. Yep.
It is way more effective when we hold our own accountable.
Yep.
But not everybody feels that way. They just want to give our pass a ride, a free ride. Anyway, moving right along. That now brings us to our parting shots.
And
parting shots are brought.
If you can squeeze it in, so
I will work to squeeze it in. Parting shots are brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Use the discount code The Rundown. All caps, no spaces, one word. Get your Hog Holster today. We're going to start with Mike's picture, and Mike is just, he's so in love with Mr. Steve Bannon. I think we'll go ahead and pop this one up there right there.
Look at that guy's
Look at
hair.
those.
I mean, he looks like a Star Trek alien in the face, but look at his hair. That hair is just like, it's perfect. He just throws it back. It's straight and leaves it like that. He's got great hair.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He looks like he could be a Bond villain.
Oh, jeez, man! Look at the guy that might have eaten a Bond villain. You know,
The guy that might have eaten a Bond, like Jabba the Hutt with hair.
Jabba the Bannon.
Jabba the Bannon. All right, this next one here, and I think this is emblematic of what we're going to wind up seeing when the Epstein files come out. For those of you who are just listening to the program, it's the Democrats have a cannon pointed at Donald Trump, and it says Epstein files on it, and they went to light it, and it blew up in their faces.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
Okay,
They'll
this
claim
next.
They're going to claim that the Republicans changed the files and manipulated the files.
Yes, they are.
Yep.
Okay, this next one here, this next video here, Mondami came out and he was asked about whether or not he would actually arrest Netanyahu, and more interesting than his answer as to whether or not he would arrest Netanyahu was the role he talked about that he felt that international law should play or will play in law when it comes to enforcing laws there in New York City.
You said you would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu based on the 2024 International Court arrest warrant. Next UN General Assembly, as mayor, would you do that?
So I've said time and again that I believe this is a city of international law, and being a city of international law means looking to uphold international law, and that means upholding the warrants from the International Criminal Court, whether they're for Benjamin Netanyahu or Vladimir Putin. I think that that's critically important to showcase our values, and unlike Donald Trump, I'm someone who looks to exist within the confines of the laws that we have. So I will look to exhaust every legal possibility, not to create my own laws to do so.
On the other hand, this is also a world event. Does that not count a little bit?
Well, I think we are a global city, but I also think what New Yorkers are looking for is consistency in the way in which we talk about our values and follow through on them. And that's why I think these warrants from the International Criminal Court, they are worth fully exploring every legal possibility to actually follow through on.
Wow. Okay, before you say your thing, let me just say, what an idiot. What an idiot. Go ahead. You go ahead first.
You kind of took the words out of my mouth. I'm like, so we should submit ourselves to the laws of other countries. They have no governing authority over us. Why would we give their rulings or their courts any sway in anything that we do?
Yeah, listen there, Zoltan. You are subject to the ordinances of the 5 boroughs, the laws of the city, the laws of the state, and the U.S. government laws, federal laws. That's it. That's what you get. You want to go arrest somebody in international court? Guess what? The federal court has laws, or the federal system has laws that says you get to go to jail because you enforced an unconstitutional law. You get to go to jail too.
Yep. Bye. Too bad.
It'll be called kidnapping. By the way,
it would be called kidnapping, and it would be all bad for him.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. So go ahead. I don't mind it. Yeah. I don't care what happens to you.
Give it a shot. And try and listen. As much as I like the NYPD, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give them the order to go up against the Mossad and try and grab Netanyahu. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
NYPD smart enough to go. Sorry, last transmission garbled. I didn't get that.
Yeah. Just so you know, and I'm sure the people over at NYPD, because we do know some of the folks who provide some of the training over there, and they are not to be trifled with.
No.
No. All right, this next one, this gentleman.
Mr. Director, I want to ask you. The man who tried to kill Republican congressman at the congressional baseball practice, nearly killing House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, left-wing or right-wing violence?
Sir, I believe it was a left-wing ideology.
Okay. Burned down cities during the Summer of Love in the George Floyd riots, left-wing violence or right-wing violence? Left-wing. The Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre, left-wing or right-wing violence? Left-wing. The Lee Zeldin stabbing attempt, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Covenant school shooting in Nashville, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Butler, Pennsylvania assassination attempt on President Trump, left wing or right wing? Left wing. The Trump International West Palm Beach assassination attempt, left wing. The Abundant Life Christian school shooting, left wing. The United Care CEO's murder, left wing. Tesla's burned, keyed, damaged, firebombed, left wing, left wing. The murders at the Israeli embassy, left wing. The ICE facilities firebombed, left wing. The Minnesota Catholic school shooting, left wing. The anti-white Charlotte and North Carolina stabbing, left wing. The attempted Utah News State firebombing, left wing. And now, of course, the culmination of this vile trend, a left-wing assassination of Charlie Kirk. So don't give me this both sides. If we want to get to unity, let's be honest. Let's be honest.
So one he left out was the burning of the Pennsylvania governor's home, because even though the governor was a Democrat, it was a pro-Palestinian, anti-Jewish, anti-Israeli activist that did it.
Yeah, and let's not forget the Pulse nightclub shooting. Let's not forget Marjorie Stoneman Douglas high school shooting. By the way, both of those FBI had eyes on and decided to do nothing about it.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. But hey, it's all our fault. Why not? It's all our fault on the right. Anyway.
Yep.
All right, folks, we're coming to the end of our program. But before we go, we're going to give one more quick shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, let's say hi to our good friends at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. You can get AR barrels, any caliber, any length you desire for your next AR rifle or your next AR pistol. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. And if you want the best in field gear, tactical gear, web gear, law enforcement, security, EMS, paintball, military, whatever it is, you can get it all. Just get your group together, get your agency together, place an order at uscombatgear.com where you can get everything except the gun.
That's right, folks. Once again, please take a moment, visit our sponsors. You can find them by just following the links in the description to this program. Go there, spend some money with them, and tell them it was the guys over at the Rundown that sent you. All right, so that's going to be it for today's show. We will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be Hump Day. Till then, y'all have fun, stay safe. Encourage your friends to like and share the program. We'd love to have them join us as we talk about, fun stuff. I'll let you later.